Tzu volunteers bring care and relief distribution to the villages affected by Typhoon Dianmu. Tzu raises young people's creativity by organizing the National Compassionate Technology Innovation Competition.
歡迎收睇大愛 Headlines， 我係 Ruby 吳，我哋一齊嚟睇下今日嘅內容。Typhoon Dianmu hit Thailand severely. Tzu volunteers went to Lam Son Ti to distribute 1,700 living packages to help the affected residents.
Whether it is giving out or receiving supplies, this sentence of words cannot be missed. Turning slogan into actions, Tzu volunteers' first step of care reached the disaster areas. The electric appliances, which were soaked in water, were all damaged. With biscuits, noodles, detergents, and a bag of rice, the affected residents were partly relieved.
Today, Tzu Chi has given a large number of living packages to the affected residents in Lam Son Ti. They are enough for all our affected households.
I'm really happy for your care. Nothing can express my touch and gratitude.
These loving materials are of great help to me. My child had a foot infection recently. The medicine in the living package can be used for her initial treatment.
Shedding tears, the 72-year-old grandma was still lingering with fear when she recalled the moment of escape when the water came.
I can rest assured now. Look, there are lots of rice and instant noodles, soap, toothpaste, and so on. These supplies are exactly what I need. I don't have any money now. I am very happy with your help.
Just like the grandmother's optimistic nature, with Tzu's love, the disaster survivors will have the courage to move on. The trucks loaded with supplies go one after another, moving forward to help other people in need.
After Typhoon Kasana hit the Philippines in 2009, the livelihoods of many residents of Marikina, Manila, were seriously affected. Fortunately, with Tzu's help, the lives of many have turned around as Tzu's seeds of goodness have later sprouted, inspiring many others to do good deeds in the community.
Hanggang may buhay ako, tutulong ako. Kahit saan niya ako dalhin, kung saan basta alam ko lang dadalhin ako, sasama ako.
Looking through the dusty suitcase, 65-year-old Nanilita Alboro looks for precious images from the time she went to Taiwan to get certified 10 years ago. She never thought that in the second half of her life there would be a huge change due to a typhoon.
In 2009, Typhoon Kasana struck the city of Marikina, where I lived, and everything changed. Not only was my house flooded, the whole city of Marikina was almost flooded. I didn't believe it at first, but it turned out to be true. The whole area was cleaned by Tzu Chi.
Once a political fanatic, if someone had a different political position from her, she would argue vigorously. But since becoming a Tzu Chi volunteer, she is no longer passionate about politics. The relationship between his husband and wife has also improved.
I used to speak very loudly and had a big temper and often offend people. I also often gossiped and talked to others. Later, I read the Master Zhen Yan's Jingzi aphorisms and I deeply reflected on myself. Now, I will think twice before saying something because I don't want to hurt someone with a casual sentence.
While she is still poor in terms of money, when Nanalita Alboro puts on the Tzu Chi volunteer blue and white uniform, she feels rich. Every month, there are 300 contributing members giving donations to her.
Nanilita is a very good person. She is already very enthusiastic about helping many people in the community. After becoming a Tzu Chi volunteer, she is more kind and helpful. If someone needs to apply for a subsidy, everyone will go to her.
They all know that Tzu people's collection of donations is to help other people. So they are willing to donate because they all expect more people in need to be helped like them.
Nanalita's life has turned around because she has learned how to give as she continues to move forward with love.
In Taiwan, Tzu Stem Cell Center has been established for 28 years. It has over 450,000 people in its registry and has helped over 6,000 cases with transplants. In today's Ray of Hope series, we take a look back at some happy memories of the past 28 years.
感谢我的供者，一个81年的哥哥。
感谢亲爱的舅舅救了我妈的命。
让我们来欢迎来自大连的赵红艳女士。5年了。
It's been 5 years. I've waited for so long. Thank you to my older brother. Older brother, where are you?
我们一起来欢迎哥哥林哲谦。
My friends and family will say that I have an older brother in Taiwan, but he is not blood related. I say he is blood related. His blood is running inside my body. He is my family. We are blood related.
Tzu Chi Stem Cells Data Bank was established in 1993 and has collected over 450,000 potential donors. As of September 17th, we have made and donated 6,036 stem cells to 31 countries around the globe. The first hurdle we came across was to convince the public and spread the knowledge of what donating peripheral blood stem cells is, as many people have the notion that it is still done by retrieving bone marrow through surgery, which brought a lot of fear to people. The staff at the Stem Cell Center are not able to explain to each individual in detail how the donation process will go, so we have reserved this job for Tzu Chi volunteers for them to help communicate with the matched donors. Volunteers also take on the job of being there for the donors during their health checks and such. It makes the process so much quicker with the involvement of the Tzu Chi volunteers.
We are here to support the blood disease patients, as well as taking care of the donors. The only thing we can be is to be a bridge of support for the donor and the recipient.
During the process, I've received many volunteers who reported back that perhaps the donor's mother refused consent, especially under the pandemic. I once got a call from a volunteer's family who was very angry on the phone and started yelling at me. He was afraid that his mother would be infected by COVID-19 if she came to donate. I waited until he was calmed and gently explained that the world's stem cell centers have not closed or shut down due to COVID-19. I am not just here to throw out the first pitch, but to let many people know, including the person who donated their stem cells to me, that I am healthy. He saved my life and I am doing well. This love is like passing the ball. Although there is a distance, it still can be passed on.
We have donors often influencing others in their family to donate. Perhaps the wife donated first, then the husband later also joined the registry and was matched as well to save a life. My wife says this is like monkey see, monkey do.
My brother and I have been matched, and we have been able to save someone's life. I think we are not only saving one life, but that of an entire family.
In the end, my other 2 daughters also registered their stem cells. She was the first to register and was matched first.
Just like this, you can solve the problem just by sitting down, but what you are doing is actually saving the lives of a family.
I can save a life just by taking a nap. That feeling is pretty good.
We encourage people of all races and ethnicities to come register at our data bank. This way, patients all over the globe can find a suitable match in our registry. The Stem Cell Center is really here to save lives, as if we are putting out a fire. We hope to help all blood disease patients and their family members.
24-year-old Wang Sonhan was diagnosed with leukemia and spinal cord tumor 6 years ago. Later, she accepted a stem cell donation from a Vietnamese who was originally afraid of blood donations, but overcame it to help someone else.
我的屁屁，加油！你不用笑我，你连做都做不到。
只是那一年当中，她又要化疗。
During that year, she needed chemotherapy, transplant, and treatments for spinal tumors.
Sorry.
In fact, her perseverance was really great.
毅力真的很大。
这样不行。
脊椎肿。
Spine tumors led her to have 2 operations. In fact, she couldn't walk at all. The neurosurgeon was surprised seeing her walk now.
When she first came over, she really cried from start to finish. She couldn't stand out and needed me to hold her. I would hold her. She would also stand until she is finished with exercise and cry at the end.
然后呢，再用浓的厚的白哈，然后再把那个海浪呢，再把它挑起来。
她哦，我都有时候讲到是。
I always thought that she is hyperactive.
可是呢，一旦她开始。
But once she sits down and started her panting, she was very quiet and stable.
安静，很安定。很我女儿，真的，小学5年级开始，对，非常4年级哦。
现在她也上大学了。
Now she is going to college to study social work. She is always like an elder sister who likes to take care of others.
什么代志拢要抢着做，迄款型的啊。
When I was in the hospital, I saw many others of about the same age as me. I was 17 years old and they were in their 20s. I worried that they would have a heavy financial burden. At that time, I wanted to do something to help them. I thought social workers could provide them with consultations about things such as government subsidies.
里面的料，等一下要爆孙锦。 刚来真的很烦又头痛，因为天天听讲话都是听母语的，听不懂的话。后来越来越习惯，是还好。有雨了，等一下没办法去庙了，要来这边我快。
I have been here for almost 18 years. I have a baby and a family. I'm very happy.
这很幸福快乐了。
As soon as I saw the list, I knew it was someone near our home. I didn't know that she was of Vietnamese. I called her and she told me that she was willing, but she didn't quite understand. So I have to tell her the procedures involved.
She is actually a very kind person, but she is also very timid. She is afraid when she sees blood.
I'm afraid of needles, afraid of blood donation. Every time I do it, I keep my eyes closed like this.
To collect stem cells, it takes about 6 to 8 hours. So even though she is so afraid to give blood, she had to endure it for 6 to 8 hours.
No matter who she is, if ever she needs me, if I'm capable, I will help immediately. After the donation, I hope she is healthy and happy, just like me. It seems like there's another me out there.
I am so grateful for her donation. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today.
This is the 5th year for Tzu Chi Foundation, and Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology jointly organized the National Compassionate Technology Innovation Competition. Environmental protection was the main focus in this year, as 100 words participated in the competition.
The creativity of young people is shown one by one in the compassionate Science and Technology Innovation Competition.
Now, gravity is used in the action of feeding, so we can't control the speed.
The compassionate feeding device design won the championship in this year's vocational category.
The team is already discussing if there are better tubings to control the overall flow weight in the feeding process.
The work of the students this year is very wonderful. Whether we talk about medical treatment or social service or other innovations, there are more ideas than before.
This year's entries must comply with the concept of environmental protection. The first place in the high school group was environmentally friendly cat litter.
This product combines tofu and wood chips to improve the absorption and deodorizing effect. It can turn garbage into gold and cat litter into fertilizer, achieving secondary use and reducing environmental pollution.
When there's no pandemic in the future, I think we can organize it in both physical and virtual ways so that more young students can participate in this meaningful activity.
Innovation, invention, compassion are used by young people to help the greater good.
For children under the age of 6, after having fever, they may develop febrile seizures with droopy eyes, crumbs all over the body, and purple lips. Usually it's harmless and will improve within 2 minutes. Let's hear what the doctor says.
As the weather turns cold, many children have colds and fevers. According to statistics, about 2 to 5% of children from 6 months to 6 years old may experience febrile seizures after fever.
I used to have it when I was a child. Because of this, I worried about her and pay special attention to her.
The brain is not fully mature yet, so they are slightly more sensitive to temperature changes. In the past few years in medicine, we have discovered that some children have a congenital mutation in the potassium channel, making them prone to febrile seizures.
In addition to genetic and developmental factors, parents also worry about whether the children's health will be affected in the future.
In the past, all aspects of neurological development were normal. There have been brainwave scans done to check on the condition of these children. The results show that they are absolutely normal. Having febrile seizures does not affect the health of the children.
Benign febrile seizure is usually stopped within 2 minutes. Parents should not panic too much. If it exceeds 5 minutes, it is recommended to seek medical attention as soon as possible.
For 15 consecutive years, Tzu Chi Hospital in Taichung has helped children with developmental delay to perform health checkups. Because of their emotional instability, Tzu Chi patiently accompanies them, alleviating their uneasy mind.
Going to the hospital for medical checkup, these disabled children will have an inexplicable sense of fear. People around them may need to control their movements.
I have to hold him tight because he is reluctant to do the checkup. If he waits too long, he'll run away.
It has been the 15th year for Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital to conduct medical checkup for these children with developmental delay with the help of Tzu Chi. 25-year-old Xiao Li suffers from hearing and language disorders. Tzu Chi Guo Yuxin communicated with him using a pen and a piece of paper.
When I knew that he likes drawing, I asked him to draw something for me. He immediately drew a penguin on the ice cubes and marked global warming next to it. I think he is great in drawing.
In the silent world, because of simple graphics and words, the distance between each other is shorter.
When accompanying them, the most rewarding thing for me is the smile and hug they give me after the process.
Tzu Chi give these children a sense of security as they comforted these children during blood drawing or when they felt anxious about the medical checkup. In fact, at the moment of giving, these Tzu Chis are the ones who benefited the most.
The fire in Kaohsiung's urban center triggered a discussion about the safety of old mixed-use residential and commercial buildings. That ITV recently took a trip to a similar building of more than 40 years old in Taipei. Follow our report as we learn more.
The Kaohsiung fire at the Chenzhongzhen building took 46 lives, and the public has been outraged about the lack of safety in mixed residential and commercial buildings. There are a few cameras here. Some areas may not have cameras. This camera is for the entire hallway. When we visit this mixed residential and commercial building in Taipei City, the management committee and firefighting facilities are all present. In addition to 24-hour security, the surveillance angle of each floor goes straight to the end of the corridor and the stairs, so there are almost zero blind spots. If I switch views, now you can see the stairwells on the outside, and there are 2 screens, and you can see both of them. In addition, the structure of the house is inherently a suite, not divided up later. It is said that it is very popular with tenants. However, the management committee confessed that it's an old building that is 44 years old and is limited by its innate design, making building management somewhat difficult. The Xinguang building is more than 40 years, so its division is actually quite different. The original law stipulated that for buildings with more than 6 floors, a fire safety equipment alarm system must be installed. For this building, there are wedding shops and photo studios on the 1st to 5th floors, and there are 202 households in the suite area on the 6th to 8th floor. There are civil organizations on the 9th floor and a restaurant on the 10th floor. In total, there are 4 management committees. Fire inspection or the public security are reported separately from different commercial management groups. We only report to the 5th and 8th floor. I'm not sure if the other parties have reported or not. It is difficult to cover everything with one complete system. What's more, there is no management committee in the Kaohsiung building where the most recent fire accident occurred. Many residents are still foreign tenants, and there are huge loopholes in the management. The current law stipulates the establishment of a management committee, but because there are no penalties, and some buildings, of course, do not establish so-called management committees. Officials explain that Category A venues such as entertainment and shopping malls require fire safety equipment to be checked every 6 months. Even if there is no commercial activity, necessary fire protection inspection should not be missed. It may become a Category B location. For example, the residence you just talked about. Category B still needs to be checked. It just comes at a different frequency, which is once a year. Looking back at this building in Taipei City, the floor plan shows that the internal space is M-shaped, and the movement paths are already complicated. There are 5 safety exits on one floor of the residential suite area. Some have direct access to outdoor areas, and some go right to the mall. This is a middle staircase. The safety exit goes to the 1st floor inside the mall. Thinking about fires, 1 more second can be the difference between life and death. Leaving the residential suite area and going to the mall where many shops are idle can be a problem as the flow of people may not be controlled.
And when you go to one of the floors here, you can see that there are many shops inside, which may have been closed for economic reasons. If there is no proper safety management, it is likely to become a dead end.
Some people may go up and you can't stop them from going. But for the residents, they will come here. If we see some people who are strolling around, we'll go and ask them what they are doing. Mixed-use residential and commercial buildings highlight complex management issues ranging from public security to fire protection. Even gray areas in terms of the law. Hopefully the lesson learned can be applied to the future.
In Sydney, Australia, Tzu Chi volunteers have donated handmade daughter caps and year savers to different hospitals to support the frontline healthcare workers. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and see you next time.